Good afternoon. I'm Anca, and on behalf of IEEGS and Anca, I would like to welcome you to our final session of the day, Beyond the Hype, AI, Augmentation, and Automation for Smarter Event Planning. Let's welcome our presenter, CEO and AI strategist at AIinevents Production, LLC.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for making it today. I had every intention to start on time, but then the previous speaker ran really over time, so we took out of our time to sound check and tech check, as we should. So I am glad that you're here. First off, it's last session of the day. The fact that you're here tells me you're my kind of people. Today, we're gonna talk about AI, but it's gonna be a little bit more advanced. And while my amazing team over there is trying to get some things on the preview monitor, because we're still working through a few hiccups, we're gonna get started. So what I wanna hear is, by a raise of hands, how many of you have used AI for anything event related this week? Okay, that's a good number of you. Now, different question. How many of you have built an AI workflow that runs without you? Okay, I see my people over here. All right, so today what we're gonna do is take AI from being just a tool, and we're gonna look at it as how can we use it as an AI worker. So for an example, instead of asking it, can you draft the event agenda for me? How about, can you identify what our audience cares about this year, and then propose the session flow, and then map up the AV needs, and then draw out the booth, expo, and do all of that without me actually having to be part of this, because I already gave you all the instructions. That's the point of today. That being said, what I'm gonna cover really quick is the types and levels of AI, because that will determine what AI you use for what. We're gonna look into a few case studies and examples. We're gonna do some exercises. I'm gonna have you actually turn to the person next to you, so you better be sitting next to someone you like, because if you don't like them, this is probably the time to start switching places, because you're gonna work together in pairs. And then we're gonna look at a few decision metrics, friction point metrics, and we're gonna look at how can we build an AI agent that does that, the things that we wanted to do. For this example, I have one that I'm gonna showcase, and a few templates that you can all take home to apply what you learn to your workflow. Does that sound good? All right. So, really quick about me. I've been in the event industry for 20-something years. I don't want to date myself, but really I've been on AV production, technology production, and now a lot of AI. I host one of the top event podcasts in the industry, Events Demystified, a lot of AI talk, a lot of technology production, and also this framework that I started called Fit for Events. In order to survive an event like this, you have to have some muscles. I like to actually do what I preach and not just preach. So that is me. Here's something that I have learned the hard way. AI doesn't fix chaos. It automates it. So if your process is broken, AI makes it consistently broken at scale. Before we build anything, we have to diagnose, map friction, and choose our leverage points. And then we can automate. So today, as I mentioned, we're gonna do this thing called see one, do one, teach one. I'm gonna give you some examples. Then you're gonna work amongst yourself on some of the prompts that I give you, and then you're gonna tell me what you came up with. Because we want to learn. We're not just here to hear things, we're here to actually take something home that we can apply. Sounds good? Yeah. All right. So, the three types of AI. When we talk about AI, we're thinking about traditional AI, which is the analyst, think machine learning. We've had traditional AI for many years. Amazon, knowing your shopping patterns, that's traditional AI. That's the analyst. Gen AI, newer to the stage, 3 years plus, maybe 5 max, where we're finally able to use AI in the context of creation. And then agentic AI, which is the operator, this is where we're moving towards. This is where we want to be. The goal isn't necessarily to give control to any of this, is to figure out which type of AI to use for what instance, and then apply it. In order to get better thinking, calmer planning, safer shows, we have to keep in mind that AI is not going to be accountable. We are the ones that are accountable. AI is not going to defend your choices that you make by brainstorming to your clients. AI is not going to defend you in front of your boss or a courtroom. You still have to be in charge. You still have to be the responsible one. So with that lens on, let me show you a real example. And this is something that has been shared in our community. I'm part of this community called Club Ichi, an amazing community for event marketers and event professionals. And somebody talked about how they implemented AI as an AI-powered direct mail workflow that saved their team 80 plus hours in one single campaign. So this is what they did. This is Canopy Tax, and they leverage AI to create a highly personalized accountees direct mail campaign. And they transform a very time-sensitive concept into scalable reality. So what they did, they launched this direct mail campaign, and somebody in a brainstorming meeting said, hey, how about we send a box of cereal with the recipient's face on it as a cartoon? And everybody was like, what? That sounds like so many hours and so much work. I mean, imagine, right? To be that hyper-personalized. But then what felt like this chaotic idea trying to put into play, they're like, how about we actually build an AI workflow and make this happen? So they pulled 323 recipient photos from LinkedIn, and then they ran each one of those through an AI generator to create a character version of the recipient and dropped that into a pre-designed cereal box template. And then guess what? Whatever it would have taken weeks, it only took hours with the level of personalization that felt intimate, not just automated. So that is what smart automation at scale can look like. AI as the creator, AI as the operator, and AI doing the heavy lifting so that the human touch still stays relevant where it matters most. I mean, isn't that amazing to receive a box of cereal with your face on it? My kids will kill for that. All right, so that was one case study, and there's so many more. Now, I want to get a little bit into the 3 levels of AI, because a lot of the sessions I'm sure you went to talks about AI as a tool. There's so many tools that were shared today just on this stage. And it's great. I mean, I love to do woodwork, and I'll tell you, without good tools, whatever project you set your mind to do, it's gonna be difficult unless you have a good set of tools. But you know what's better than the tool itself? Having a strategy. Looking at something and say, this is what I'm gonna build, and this is what it's gonna take, and this is how I'm gonna do it. That is the strategy behind just using the tool. So level 1 is where most event professionals that I talk to are at right now. They are using AI because they want to generate a draft. They want to edit something. And ChatGPT generates a bunch of that. Like, you'll probably use this every single day, 100 times a day. A few mentionable tools I'm not gonna mention, but they're there if you want to get into that. Now, where I want to stop for a second when you're thinking about AI is slop. How many of you come across slop on LinkedIn, Facebook? Now, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go against the grain when I say that. Slop is not an AI problem. It's a workflow problem. Because if you have a sharp idea and you have some thought leadership behind that idea, that is going to be amplified by AI. But if your idea is vague, guess what? AI is going to expose the void. So whenever somebody tells me, well, I don't want to lose my voice to AI, so I'm not going to do anything with it, I'm not going to post anything, to me, that it just sounds you don't have a good process on how to train AI properly, how to use it properly, and how to deploy it properly. So it's more of a workflow than anything else. And I don't know about you, but the only thing worse than bad AI content is smart people avoiding to share their voice and using good tools out of fear of looking generic. That is the real slop right there. Now, how do you avoid it? Try this workflow next time. Start with something real, something that you have written, something that could be a post, a session, a blog, and then a point of view. You're smart people. You all have opinions. Share your opinion. Define what's sacred. Your tone, your perspective, your edge, and be very specific when using AI as your tool. Take this content and turn it into a LinkedIn thought-provoking post that makes people stop scrolling. It's a really good prompt right there. But then don't stop there. Iterate. Make sure that whatever it is that it's outputted, you tighten it, you refine it. And I always say this, the first draft coming out of AI should never be the last draft. That's where slop hides, right? So when you think about AI watering down your voice, it's because you haven't spent the time into a workflow like this so that your voice gets sharpened. So on a quick side note, after you follow this workflow, let me give you one simple way to get better thinking out of any large language model. And that is called verbalized sampling. Now, what is that? Recently, researchers at Stanford came up with a new paper that they called How to Mitigate Mode Collapse and Unlock LLM Diversity. They looked at why models give the same safe answer. The short version is when you ask for one output, the model defaults to something safe, something typical. So instead of asking for one answer, ask it for several, and ask it for how likely each one of those is to happen and why are those answers different. So for example, if you were to say, generate an agenda workflow for me, instead of asking it that, you can ask it, generate 5 variants of this one output and verbalize the probability of each one and tell me why they're different. Because that way you force the model to widen the range and show you some edge ideas, not just the safe middle. So that is the strategy that you need to use in order to get something out of a model that is not just the same thing that gets repeated all the time. So let's be smarter than everybody. Let's be above the average. All right, this is the time to do an exercise because I need to take a water break and I need you to be working on something. So this is what we're gonna do. Remember the see one, do one, teach one? This is your chance to do the one and the teach one. And for anyone that's like, I don't want to be talking to people, why are you coming to conferences? But to talk to people and meet people. And in the age of AI, this is the most real thing you're ever going to do. So let's turn to the person next to, say hi, introduce yourself, and you're going to identify an event challenge in your workflow, and then you're going to brainstorm 3 reasons why that is a challenge for you. But then you're not going to stop there. Then you're going to rewrite it with the process that I gave you, only right now you're going to do it without AI. You're going to give me 3 variants of why that would be a different output, 3 different alternatives. So that's the exercise. An example, let's just say you have this challenge with late registrations. So come up with 3 different reasons why that happens. Ready for it? Okay, let's do it. You have 90 seconds. I don't have a lot of time. Okay.
Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to the team at AIinevents. We are not just an event planning and production agency. We are focused on integrating innovative AV solutions, AI strategies, and wellness-focused practices through our Fit for Events framework. Whether you're planning live, virtual, or hybrid events, the team at TreeFan Events is here to provide personalized planning, strategic design, and seamless technology management to ensure everything runs flawlessly. And now, we are offering AI-powered workshops to help you grow your business, build stronger teams, and elevate your events to the next level. If you want to learn more about how the team at TreeFan Events can help make your event unforgettable, visit treefanevents.com.
So the next level, augmentation. Once you have widened the model's thinking and stopped it from just giving you safe answers, you're ready for the next shift. This is where AI models can draft to the next level. And this is what we call augmentation. It can analyze, it can compare, it can surface patterns, and it can show you what actually needs attention. You're still in control, but AI now does the work for you. And then the next level is going to be the most automated one, which is the more advanced. This is level 3. AI can think with you, and you no longer have to babysit it. You can just give it a task, and it can run it for you. You set the rules, and the system can handle the rest. That's where real-time saving comes into play. So this is basically the spectrum that I wanted to cover, because that way you know which level of AI is used and when. When you choose the right level for the right problem, you can save time, gain clarity, and streamline operations. Okay, I've been in the event industry for quite a bit, and one thing I have learned is that there's a lot that AI can do. However, it is not AI that creates amazing experiences. It is not technology that creates amazing experiences. It is smart people using smart decision-making that create amazing experiences. Yes, AI is useful, but only when it is invisible. The most helpful AI is the one that works that you don't see. The one that does the predictive analytics, the one that does the real-time list scoring, the one that is using intelligent data synthesis, and could even auto-update floor plans so that you don't have to be in a spreadsheet for years of your life. This is the gap, though, where, unfortunately, where we're at. This is what AI can do, but this is where we are. Here's a quick example. An event team I met had a chatbot that they deployed, which was great, but not a lot of people use. It was a sentiment analysis tool that you would get some data, and there was some automation that needed fixing all the time. But the real planning is still live in a spreadsheet that they called Master Final V9 Real Final. All of those tools were put into process, but there wasn't really a lot of strategic oversight and thought behind how we're going to make this happen. Unfortunately, there's a disconnect between what AI can do and where we are as an industry. Luckily, we're here to fix that. So how do we know what kind of AI to use and implement so that we can really get leverage? I start with the diagnostic map. This is where you need to diagnose the friction. Every event workflow has 4 zones. How we identify where AI actually will be helpful and where it belongs is where we start looking at first, because that's what separates just using it to solve a problem versus being strategic. Zone 1, high touch, high value. Think of speaker, curation, sponsor, strategy, crisis management. Keep that part human. There shouldn't be any AI used there. Zone 2, high touch, low value, manual data entry, chasing RSVPs, reformatting speaker bios 47 times. This is where you can automate, because you don't really need yourself to be in the mix. Zone 3, low touch, high value, post-event analysis, lead scoring, session recommendations. This is where you can augment AI services, insights, then you get to make the call. And then zone 4, low touch and low value, status update emails. How many of those do you get in a day? Calendar invites. Can you resend this, please? Kill it or templatize it. Your job isn't just to spot the friction, it's to know which level of AI will solve it, and it's to spot one task in zone 2 or zone 3 and then map an AI solution for it. So here's one scenario how this was used. Last minute changes that I'm sure none of you are dealing with. Sponsor changes, sponsor updates. A sponsor delays uploading their booth branding asset until the week of the event, and to make things worse, they upload the graphic in the wrong format and then add a surprise last-minute demo that requires specific AV, and that means changes to the AV order. And because it's revenue, you can't really say no, right? So you absorb it. You already know you're going to spend plenty of hours on this. But this is where an easy AI workflow could really help. So how would I solve this? A simple ChatGPT or Claude agent can check the brand assets for resolution and sizing, can flag the missing elements, can convert the file formats, can rewrite the copy for signage, and generate a clean text spec for AV so you can hand it off as a tidy request instead of actually having to go through 12 different emails to just get this done. You still make it work, right? But this is where AI can really reduce the scramble. Another example is post-event surveys. You can easily build an automation with Make and Zapier, which can pull all of the surveys into a Google Sheet or Airtable. But then you have those open text fields that have no categorization, no tagging, no category, and those are the ones that actually do have a lot of insights. So this is where another simple workflow could automate the entire process so that you get an executive-ready report generated once AI does its job. It does all the categorization based on the criteria and the evaluation framework that you set up. And once it's running, all you have to do is feed in your surveys. The workflow does the sorting, the cleaning, the reporting, and the heavy lifting, so you can then just stay focused on decisions instead of coming all through this raw data that you have to deal with. Before we move on, actually, I like to do 30-second reset. Everyone? Up, 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 up. And you know why we're doing this? Because our brain works in 10-15-minute cycles. So anything that you've done up until this moment, this is about the time when you start tuning out. But we're going to not do that. We're going to engage. So this is what we're going to do. Imagine that you're getting rid of 300 Slack messages all at once. Let's see. Go, 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 go. Woo! Awesome. Okay. Zombies, we're all done. You can sit down. Now your brain is ready to learn some more. Okay, let's move on. Now, going back to our friction to value map, which is critical for strategic AI implementation, this helps you take any task and define it by the two factors, friction and then value. Friction, how much effort, time, and complexity does a task demand? And then value, how much strategic importance, revenue generation, or competitive advantage does this task contribute? So the goal is to move as many tasks as possible out of zone 2 and 3 and automate them with AI or eliminate them so that you can focus predominantly on zones 1 and 3 where your time generates the most value. So our next exercise is where you're gonna identify one thing in your workflow that makes you so frustrated that you want to throw away your laptop. Then you're going to place it in one of those 4 zones. Be specific. Emails isn't a zone. Chasing exhibitors for booth confirmations 2 weeks before the event is, okay? You have 90 seconds to work through this, and then we're going to share one example. Ready? Let's get started. Turn around to the other person, the person that you haven't talked yet. All right. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Awesome. Who wants to share? Okay, there we go. Let's get a microphone to Heather. I put this on the screen so you can see what the friction to value map was.
So the problem I suggested was getting the vendors to pay before they hit the sales floor, and we are working between three systems right now. And a city manager that will not let you on the floor until the pay this, so sometimes we get sales rep who has no clue that they owe $45,000.
What was the one task that you're going to put into zone 2 and 4, which is to be automated or eliminated, versus zone 1 and 3, which should give you the most value?
I would like to have it where email is sent every week, a couple months prior or a month prior to the event, saying, hey, you still owe us, which we love them. And then a final email saying, you will not be allowed on the floor until this is met.
Like it. What system do you use right now? Just curious.
We go between Great Focus, Rapid Show, and NetSuite.
Is the Microsoft based or what is it?
It's Microsoft. The trouble is we...
Outlook.
Yeah, it's all a spreadsheet.
Okay. So a really quick workflow you can create without needing AI is Power Automate in Microsoft. It's part of your stack. All you need to do is press on that little icon that's included in your stack and see what it does. It has fully automated workflows, and sending emails on a schedule like that, it's super easy to do. And then it has AI embedded where if you don't know how to create it, you can easily just tell it, please set up this workflow that does this, blah, 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 based on criteria. You're welcome. Okay, I'm gonna jump into the next one. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of a context here because I grew up on the internet where dial-up was king. Remember that you'd hear mom picking up the phone and disconnect you from chat? Yeah. So we thought that was cutting edge. But then broadband came and rewrote everything. And some companies adapted fast while others waited too long and got left behind. I think AI is doing the same thing right now where it's rewriting the search engine, e-commerce, event marketing, only this time with way more speed and ferocity. The difference is you have that decision matrix and framework to look at so you don't be the people that were left behind. So a quick case study on how that can be applied in real life. You're running an event with late stage registration spikes. You're spending an hour cleaning up the bad submissions. Say there's a bunch of dietary fields that were left blank, there's overlap content, there's accessibility needs that are missing. So you have three paths. You build, but you're not really a dev engineer. You buy, and the platform to solve this problem costs a lot of money. Or maybe you can partner, and I think there's a lot of value in partnering up. You could borrow a very easy 3-step intake workflow built by another team. And going back to the example I gave you, Power Automate is being used by a lot of other agencies. The reason why I know is because I helped them build those workflows. You can easily reach out and say, hey, if you guys are using Microsoft Enterprise, are you also using Power Automate? Do you have a workflow built for this? That's an easy workflow. You plug Typeform or Tally, and then it can flag errors instantly. It can send only the problem submission to your Airtable, follow up, and then you cut your cleaning time from an hour a day to 5 minutes, and that's already saving time. And to me, that's a partner win. That's how the decision matrix works. You choose the path that gives you the most lift with the least friction. So I'm gonna skip over this really quick, but you're gonna have it in the slides. I wanna get into our live demo because that's what you came here for, and we're running out of time. I mean, I was gonna keep you until 6 p.m. since it's the last session, but I think you'd be really mad at me if I did. We're gonna try not to do that. So here's the scenario of how this little AI demo, which I'm gonna call it a speaker content processor, came to be, okay? So the scenario is that you run events, every event has speakers, every speaker sends in a bio, a headshot, sometimes a novel, sometimes chaos, sometimes description, sometimes it doesn't. And every time you have to rewrite the bio, you have to extract a short version for your social media channels. You have to format the headshot because they send you this like 4x3 instead of a square, whatever. You have to send reminders, update spreadsheets, update your app, update your signage, and you do this again and again. So what if an AI agent could actually handle all of that? Imagine that. So what I have built, and because we're on the clock, I was going to go through every single one of the steps, and then I realized that is so not realistic. So I have pre-built a lot of those steps. What this is, it's using Claude Code. Any of you into vibe coding? I know some of you have heard of it. Do you know what vibe coding is? Is where you have absolutely no engineering background to develop an app, but you know how to use words. So you go to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and you ask it, hey, I have this idea. Would you be able to take this concept and turn it into an app for me? And guess what? It does the work for you. Imagine that. Okay, so here's what I have built. I was literally in that place where I'm like, I have this idea, and what you see here is actually, this is my terminal. But the terminal has Claude Code installed. There's two ways in which you can engage with Claude Code when it comes to vibe coding. One, you can do it in the desktop. There's a desktop version. You just go to cloudcode.ai. Or you install on your local machine and then you run it in the terminal. I love the terminal part because it's much faster and it has access to all my files. For example, in Cloud Desktop, I have to integrate, do an API connection, blah, blah, blah. Things that right now we're not gonna get into. However, this already has access to all of that. So I have created what I wanted, and the reason why you see a lot of words here is because I kept giving it more ideas. I created this speaker evaluation. First, let me tell you what it does. The concept was you upload a messy speaker file, and it will rewrite it based on the information provided. It will recommend a few different talk titles or talk descriptions and key takeaways. So if somebody just sends a paragraph about a session, it will automatically do those things for you. Then it will generate a LinkedIn post for you to use based on the info provided. And then it will also flag in the process document things such as the speaker forgot to upload their headshot, or it's missing their AV requirements, or maybe the event registration is missing because it didn't register yet. So whatever it is, it will highlight based on the criteria that you set up. Now, another thing that I just added was this event configuration evaluation scoring. If you work with Session Board before, they actually have an AI agent built in that does just that. Now I did it for free. I can actually build it myself. So based on the criteria, and I took this criteria from EXPO. So the event team is Innovation AI, Operational Excellence for trade shows and event professionals, and then the event tracks. I set up the configuration, and I have already pre-built a few messy speaker packets. They're locally on my machine, and I just wanted to have it ready. So now what it's gonna do, it's gonna process the folder that has those messy speaker packets. For example, those are the speaker packets, right? They're living here, it's just a text document. It's gonna process that. Or if you had a new one, you can easily upload it, and then you would ask it to process it. So he already did this for the 5 speakers in my document. As you can see, he rated their session based on the criteria that I set up. Things such as relevance to the event team, track alignment, speaker credibility, presentation quality, audience engagement, innovation factor, things like that. And then it gives me a score. I also gave it a scoring, so then you can preview that and you can reject it or you can accept it. Sounds like Dr. Olivia is the closest to the criteria. And then you can also download that as an Excel document, or let's see if it's gonna generate LinkedIn. Automatically did. If I go back to this, I actually wanna show you how cool this is, like Reg. What Reg included, it was something that looked like, let's see if I can take it to this other screen. It was a lot of words on paper, and now the agent automatically created not just the copy, the speaker announcement, the session preview, highlight, call to action, and then you have all of that as documents that you can download. Now, you're like, okay, that's great. What else can we do? Tell me what would you like to change in this agent, and let's do it together. Give me an idea of how can we upgrade this agent based on this case. Let's work together, yes? Okay. So we would want to create a marketing description that's different than the LinkedIn.
Can the system generate a reminder email or text message just saying, hey, we're still waiting on this?
Okay. That will be an additional tab that's going to show up here. And then because this is not connected to the email client, you'll have to copy and paste. But what I wanted to show you next steps is where can you take it from here? Because this is where the power comes. Because right now, even if I got this and everything is nicely organized, I still have to copy and paste a lot of this information into the speaker packet, into the app, into the website, into whatever. But the next step to this workflow is actually to automate all of that. Connect the Zapier to the agent generates all of this, and then you send it to the places. You can easily do that with N8, and that is automatically going to then give you the next level up of how you can take it. In my speaker packets that you're gonna get here, you get actually step-by-step make automation that you can implement. I also will give you the directions how to build this yourself. And the idea here is actually to think of the workflow. You might be someone like, hey, I don't have a need for this agent, but you have a need for a different kind of agent. The steps that I showed you with having a GitHub, having Claude installed, prepping the agent to do the requirements based on what you set the instructions to be, all of those steps are required for any agent whatsoever. So once you know the steps, then you can apply it to any workflow. And then you can create whatever agent you want to do whatever task you want based on your specific case. So right now, it's still working on that. The green means it has not run into errors. So we're on track here. As you can see, it's gonna take some time, especially since we gave it a big ask, but it's not impossible. How many of you will go in the code to write that? I won't. Can Claude do that for you? 100%. Do you have to be an engineer to write that? No. All you had to do is think of an idea of how to make this better and then verbalize it. So you said you already did it. Let's update this really quick. Okay. And let's see, where did it put it? Let's do the upload really quick. I'm gonna take Mike. I'm gonna process it. And then, ta-da, speaker email reminder, ready to copy and paste. Was that hard? Can you all do it? Will you do it? Warwick is like, no. Why would you not? You can have someone else do it for you. Hey, that's a smart thing to do. Okay. All right, so let me get to the end here. This is where I was saying what's next, from agent to ecosystem, because you still have to upload, you still have systems that you need to update, and the next level is to be able to build that integration that will connect your agent to the right APIs, to the CRM, to the event platform, to the social channels, create even event graphics if you want, and all you have to do is just give the instructions. So that's the next step into this flow. Now, as I promised, I want you to be able to get all of this. So you're gonna scan that and give me some feedback. Now, I want real feedback. I don't want to hear, great talk. I actually want to hear from you what's been useful, what else could I have done better, and what else you want to hear. And then I will send you how to build that AI agent, how to build the automated workflow, and then also have access to a few other goodies that are all part of this. All right, so while you do that, I'm ready here to get to my last 2 slides. Okay, you all done it? Okay, perfect. You're lying. You haven't. I saw you not do it. Okay, so I know they're gonna kick us out. The inflection point where we are right now is that AI investment is truly accelerating, and a lot of the repetitive work is disappearing. That doesn't mean that people matter less, but slow manual processes no longer make sense. At the same time, the work that is human, judgment, creativity, leadership, that is rising in value. And every organization has a decision to make. Lead the shift, manage the shift, or resist it and be left behind. This moment isn't about technology. This moment is about leadership. So before you go, consider this. Where are you moving forward, and where are you still protecting processes that no longer serve you? Because the real risk isn't trying AI and learning and failing. The real risk is standing still and calling it caution. So your commitment is, in the next 30 days, explore AI tools isn't a commitment. But schedule a 90-minute workshop with my team to map friction points and use the 4-zone decision matrix. That is a commitment. I want you to make a commitment and put it into practice. You on with this? On point? Yeah? You're gonna do it? Good. And then next, stay connected. Find me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my podcast. We talk a lot about AI and technology on the podcast. I want you to get back to me on LinkedIn and tell me what you built, and tell me that you did stick to that commitment. Deal? All right. And the last thing, I have to put this up because Jody is gonna be mad at me if I don't. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sticking around. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you.